And in the next line, he says, "But I was well upon my way to sleep before it fell, and I could tell what form of dreaming was about to take." And then he says, "But I was well upon my way to sleep before it fell." So he says that even before the sheet of ice fell to the ground, he was on his way to sleep. That means we somehow clearly can say that he's on his bed and he's thinking about it and he's almost like dreaming. So, what he's thinking, things he's thinking about his morning and everything. And then he says that he can somehow guess what he's about to dream, and he says what form my dreaming was about to take, and he could tell that he what he is going to dream about. And then he says, "Magnified apples appear and disappear, stem end and blossom end, and every fleck of russet showing clear." So he says that he can dream about magnified apples that's appearing and disappearing in front of him. So it's exactly like how you pick through an apple and you throw it into a barrel and it disappears in the barrel. So it's like that. And he says this kind of a dream happens because when you keep doing the same thing the entire day, even though you're resting, your mind kind of takes you to the same thing and gives you a feeling that you're still doing the same thing, because you go into some kind of a trance that even though you're resting, you feel like you're picking apples, or you, or maybe if you're driving the entire day, you feel like even though you're sitting still, still feel like you're driving. So even this is what the speaker also feels, and he says that every fleck of russet is showing clear. So he says that he can see every fleck. Every fleck is like a dot, and the russet is the brownish color that apples get. And he says that he can see those apples russet. It's very clear. It's very crystal clear in right in front of his eyes. And he says, "My instep arch not only keeps the ache, it keeps the pressure of a ladder round. I feel the ladder sway as the bow bends." And then he says that he we can say how realistic this dream is, because the narrator can feel the pressure of the ladder's round step to the bottom of his foot. And when you stand on the ladder for a very long time, your foot starts to hurt, and he says that he can feel that hurting and the pressure that the on his foot. And he also says that he can feel the ladder bend because of his weight, weight. And it tells us that how realistic or how detailed this dream is about. And also this also gives us a very clear picture of how apple picking is done. So the narrator is also showing us a picture of how apple picking is also done. And then he says, "And I keep hearing from the cellar bin the rumbling sound of load on load of apples coming in." So, and these lines suggest that the narrator is not the only one who's picking the apples. Maybe there are some other workers who is also picking, and they're loading the apples in the cellar and they're unloading the apples. It also tells us that even though it's nighttime and everyone's gone to work, he still feels like he's working. And he's very tired and he still feels like he's working. So it's some kind of a trance that he's in just before he's falling asleep. Okay, in lines 27 and 38 through 38, he says that, "For I have had too much of apple picking, I am overtired of the great harvest I myself desired. There were 10,000 fruit to touch, cherish in hand, lift down and not let fall." And then he says that he has had too much of apple picking, that he has become overtired of doing the same thing over and over again every day. And then it is also the harvest that he himself desired to get, of the great harvest that he wanted all the he wanted one of his best harvest ever. And then now that he has so much work to do and he's been doing it for so long, he feels like he's just done with it and he just wants to get it over with and finish off the work as soon as possible. In the next lines, he exaggerates of how many apples is there. just like in William Wordsworth's poem that is Daffodils, even he says 10,000 I saw once a host of golden daffodils. So it's he did not even the in this the narrator did not go and count the apples in his orchard, just an exaggeration of how much apples were there. And he says that he needs to cherish them in hand, like need to pluck them carefully and then put it in the barrel and not let an apple fall, because that struck the earth no matter for all that struck the earth, no matter if not bruised or spiked with stubble, went surely to the cider apple heap as of no worth. So later he says that if any apple that fell to the earth, mm, even though if they're bruised or not, they went to the cider apple heap. And the apple that are used to make cider is considered to be the worst of the harvest. And even though the some of the apple that fell on the ground are not bruised and are in perfect condition, they're also considered as worthless, and they're thrown to the heap. So he also notice that he also makes the second reference of fall here. And uh, and also the apple. He also this is again a biblical reference of Adam and Eve and the forbidden fruit and apple that and fell falling to the earth. So he says that even though the apple that are fallen to the earth are in perfect condition, they're corrupted. So it's some kind of a he doesn't make the biblical reference obvious, but it is there in his poems. And later he says that one can see what will trouble the sleep of mine, whatever sleep it is. And then he kind of says that what kind of an image that troubles him, because he's been having these dreams, like he's been thinking about his dreams, and it is some kind of he feels that these dreams are a bit disturbing to him, because he has had too much of apple picking, and now even in his sleep he's thinking about the same thing. And then he's also unsure of what kind of a sleep he's going to have, because he's very tired and he's very uncertain of the sleep, what sleep he's having. In the next lines, he says that were he not gone, the woodchuck could say whether it's like his long sleep, as I describe it's coming on, or just some human sleep. So here, the woodchuck is a groundhog, and it's a very it's an expert in hibernating, and it hibernates under the ground. And he says that if the woodchuck had not gone to sleep, it could actually say what kind of a sleep the narrator is going to have. And he wonders if this sleep is actually like one of the sleep that woodchuck is going to have, like an hibernation for 3 months, or is it just like some human sleep. Uh, we can say that here this hibernating or the long sleep is not hibernation, because humans don't hibernate biologically, and it may be a reference to death. um, because and also the action of apple picking might be some of the jobs that a lot of people do, and having and it also gives a sense of unfinished business, and maybe it also gives us an idea that the poet or the narrator is tired of his life, and he just wants to get it over with, and he wants to have a long sleep. Or or um, it also like and also in one of his other poems, that is Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening, he Robert Frost again, he makes a contrasting theme to this one, because there he talks about miles to go before I sleep. That means even there sleep means death, and he says that he has somewhere to go, he has a destination he needs to reach before he sleeps. So, and in this poem we can see that even though he has a lot of work to do, he just wants to get it over with. So we can see a contrast between the two poems. And I recommend you to read that poem as well and compare what kind of a theme he uses and rhyming schemes he uses in that poem. I hope you enjoyed this poem and also read through his other poems. They're very interesting. Thank you.